Cubs and Brew Crew wrapping up their series at Miller Park this afternoon. Second batter of the game is Luis Valbuena, and he takes former Cub Kyle Loesch deep to right and out of here. Cubs a 1-0 lead. Top third, man-hopper Nate Schierholtz, and he has left the building. A two-run jack, 3-0 Chicago. Meanwhile, the biggest story of the day was Jake Arrieta trying to knock down a spot in the rotation next year, cruising. 7 innings of 3-hit baseball. 5 Ks for Arrieta. In the 7th, Brewers threatening. Arrieta gets Francisco to ground out to end the inning. 7 strong. He walked just 1. Cubs win 5-1. So it's a win for Dale Swaim, but it won't ease the pressure on him. On Tuesday, Theo Epstein said Swaim's future would be decided after the season, but no alarm bells are going off. Yesterday, Dale Swaim was asked about his boss's comments.
I would hope to think so, but I mean, I've been around the game long enough to understand how the whole process works. But you know, I've been happy with the way we've done things, and obviously some things haven't gone too well, and some things have gone really well. So happy with my coaching staff and all that. But like I said, that's up to them, and they're the bosses, and they make those decisions and they evaluate. They have all kinds of things to evaluate.
All right, so what happens? You are a big Cub fan, season ticket holder. Do you think Dale Swaim is in the dugout opening day 2014?
I'm curious as to what Dale Swaim thinks has gone really well. That was what I just took out of that soundbite. Dave, I don't know. I'll answer your question this way. I was devastated when the Cubs hired Lou Piniella over Joe Girardi. I thought at the time it was the worst mistake they could have possibly made.
Completely agree.
I think it's been proven. Joe Girardi is available. It's that simple. Maybe they still get a wild card. I don't know. And maybe he wants to stay in New York, but he is available. If they are not doing everything they can to put on a full court press to say come home, then to me it doesn't matter, because the rest of these guys, you worry about it in 15 or 16, maybe when you're ready to contend. You've got a window here where you can get the guy who I think is perfect for your organization. Go do it. If you don't do it, give Swaim another year. What difference does it make? They're not going to beat anybody next year.
Well, I know you are very close to upper management, so I will defer to you on this one. I still say it's 50-50. I think if Joe Girardi makes himself available and he sees the handwriting on the wall, aging players in New York, I'm not going to win there. I can come to Chicago. The future is in front of them after probably one more bad year. I think they hire him in half a second if he makes himself available. The knock, obviously, against Dale is there's a bunch of young players that are going to be coming up through the system here very shortly. The young players that are there right now have gone backwards here for the last year and a half. We're talking Rizzo and Castro. And if upper management takes a look at Rizzo and Castro going backwards,
and Barney and Samardzija,
those guys included as well, then when you get the Solers, the Almoras, the Bryants, the Baez's here, if you're already taking a look at the current crop of young players going backwards, that's something to worry about with your manager. So that's what upper management may be looking at.
The question is, does Girardi want to leave one bad situation for another? I mean, I have no idea what kind of offers.
Well, yeah, but that's a bad situation that's trending bad, that has nothing in the system. The rebuild here, if he wants to come here, I have no idea if he does. If he wants this job, now is the time to take it.
Well, and forget the whole Yankee thing. Look at the job he did in Florida before that silliness down there with the owner, because that was a more comparable situation to what he would be walking into here now. And Seth, I mean, he gets a honeymoon. He's not expected to win anything next year, maybe even in 2 years. And see, the bigger question, guys, that nobody's talking about is, do Theo Epstein and Jed Hoyer know what they're doing? I know what their plan is, but is this talent as good as they say it is? Should these guys be getting back? I mean, I'm a fan. I'm not an expert. I don't know if Rizzo can be a Gold Glove, 30, 100 guy at first base. I've had doubts about Castro from the first day I saw him, when I heard he was going to become a power-hitting shortstop. I never saw him driving the ball. So, if they're giving him the real talent, then I think Girardi's the right answer.
Well, power. As far as Castro's concerned, power hitting, who knows that could develop. He's not a shortstop. This guy is not. They need to stick him in left field. He does not have the mental makeup to be a shortstop. I mean, experiment over. Way too many mental mistakes.
Okay, what if I told you you're Joe Girardi and the Washington Nationals, who are built to win right now, are going to fire 96-year-old Davey Johnson and bring Joe there, and they'll say, open checkbook, and we'll go get anybody you need.
I thought Johnson was retiring anyway. Did I miss that?
Yeah,
I think that job is going to be there too.
Correct.
So does he want to come home? I mean, that's what you've got to sell here. Do you want to come home? You can stay as long as you want. You know that if you have any success at all. And the plum, guys. And here's a guy who understands it. Do you want to be the guy who gets it done?
Right, if you do, you go to the Hall of Fame.
I was just going to say, that's your ticket to the Hall of Fame. If you're the guy who finally gets it done, you're God in your hometown. And that's a pretty compelling pitch.
But you're going to have Mike Scioscia might be available, might. You're going to have Ron Gardenhire for sure going to be available. I mean,
they're nice, but to me, it's Girardi or I'll keep Swam for a year because this team isn't going to compete anyway. It doesn't matter to me.
Well, they may do that anyways and then say, we're going to go after our guy in 2015. If they think, they're going to be bad again.
But those guys may not be there in 2015. Who is the guy in 2015? In 2015, you don't know.
Girardi will be gone by 2015. He's either going to be, a long-term deal with the Yankees, or he's going to sign with somebody else, Cubs or otherwise, next year. Gardenhire's the kind of guy who could take a year off. I was in his office the other day, and he still hopes to come back to Minnesota. At least publicly, that's what he's saying. I like him a lot. I think he works well with young players. Fundamentally, they've gotten away from it the last couple of years because of talent. They have a lot of talent coming up through their system as well. He would be my second choice. Mike Scioscia, I just don't see happening. He's owed too much money, too many years. I don't think he's going to be let go.
And more importantly, with Ron Gardenhire, we talked about this off air, is he's sort of engendered this culture of fundamentals with Minnesota that we see all the time. I mean, that team, you see the catcher sprinting to back up the first baseman. You don't see that. You just don't see that. You've never seen that in Chicago that much on a consistent basis. That's what I like about Ron Gardenhire.
Hey, we could have the same scenario on the other side of town, too. I know Robin keeps talking about wanting to come back on the south side, but listen, they have some decisions as well. I mean, do they want to go forward with Robin Ventura, who didn't want to take the contract extension even before this season started? Is he the guy in their minds who's going to be the manager when they turn the corner?
Do both GMs have pressure to make a move now? Because if you're the Cubs and Girardi is interested, I don't know if he is. If he is, I think, as you said, you got to go get him. But what if you're Rick Hahn? I know we got a fan, Rocco, who writes me every day, and he said the right manager, the Sox turn it like that. I don't know if I agree with that.
No.
Yeah.
I couldn't disagree more. Guys, this is the owner who kept Jerry Krause 8 years past his benefits. I mean, if Robin wants to stay, the owner's going to make sure he gets a chance to stay. I'm just not convinced he wants to stay. And not that I have any insight into it, but knowing how he came to the job in the first place, not taking the extension when it was there, he's saying the right things now, but he may say, hey, all right, this was fun.
And we know the Reinsdorfs don't like to pay for coaches. They like to go for, they like their jobs to be the first head coaching or managerial jobs that they've had.
Not necessarily. I mean, he paid Phil Jackson a ton of money.
Well, Phil Jackson won 6 championships here. I mean, that was after championships. But look at the guys they've hired,
They went out and paid a lot of money to Scott Skiles. They paid
and that bit him.
a lot of money.
That bit him when they got rid of him.
Yeah, I'm not focused on the money so much as just knowing Reinsdorf's loyalty to these guys, and Robin Ventura is one of his guys. And so, really, if you want to be fair, you got 2 years. 1 year, he was, third in the Manager of the Year voting. This year, everything went south. It's not all on Robin Ventura. I think that if Robin Ventura wants to stay, he's going to get a chance to stay. I just don't know if he wants to stay.
All right, today, Todd Helton, who is getting ready to retire, decided to have a little fun. He pulled a hidden ball trick today for the Colorado Rockies on Matt Carpenter. Now watch this. See you later. Thanks for coming. You're out. Nice job, Todd Helton. I think that's awesome. Some people don't like it in the game. I love it.
What's wrong? How do you not like that? What's wrong with that?
I love it, but I'm reading different things on Twitter. That's cheap, unethical. I love it.
It's ridiculous.
You're part of the game.
You're taught that in Little League to do that.
Totally agree.
Unethical? That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
That's the base runner's fault.
It's baseball, yeah.
He didn't even see the pitcher or the first baseman fake the throwback. He was just lazy and walked off the bat.
Because he's a Cardinal, of course. What do you expect?
That's like calling a reverse Bush League.
Now, let's watch Prince Fielder decide to have some nachos as he runs down a foul ball today. Check this out. There goes the big body down the line. I love the hustle. Hungry after he runs that far, so he says to the kid, thanks for the nacho. I think that's awesome.
Isn't he a vegan? I hope there was no beef on those nachos.
He gave up being a vegan.
Oh, he's not anyway.
I've seen him eat in club. He eats like a champ.
I don't believe he was ever a vegan. You can't carry 270 and be a vegan. I don't know how that works.
No doubt about it.
Guys.
But that does not look like a little kid there. It looks like a gentleman who's eating the nachos and love the hustle out of Prince Field. I think it's
the
great.
guy's pants are as big as my first apartment.
Oh, he is a big dude. Blackhawks back on Comcast Sportsnet. Marion Hossa won't be back for a bit.